Hey everybody, welcome back to Professor Natalie Games. If you're new here, my name is Dr. Natalie Van Duzen. I'm a professor of Scandinavian Studies at the University of Alberta in Edmonton, and I have been doing reactions to God of War 2018, God of War Ragnarok. I've done those two in their entirety, and now I am currently looking at Assassin's Creed Valhalla. But right now, I want to react to the brand new trailer that has just come out for God of War Laufey. So let's dive right in, and I will pause and do some kind of explanations throughout. But I'm going into this totally blind. I have really resisted looking at any trailers or spoilers so far because I wanted to give this kind of my pure initial reaction. So let's get to it. Is that a loon?
Find your way home. You are free.
Kratos! Jeez. Where am I? You know where I am? Okay. Burned clothes. The pyre. It happened. They're starting on the path. It's just... I didn't get to say goodbye.
So a lot of this I've said in previous videos, but I will just say here that cremation was a known way of doing funerals during the Viking Age, and it's attested, especially in mythology, the most famous being the burning of Balder on the funeral pyre. And it is also said in a number of other accounts that Odin ordered cremation as a way of doing funeral practices. And so it was a very common, widespread, well-attested method for funerals. I'll say more about Laufey herself in just a moment.
This definitely isn't the light of Alfheim.
Alfheim is the realm of the light elves, and that is said to have been given to Freyr as a tooth gift.
Mask. How? Shouldn't have been that difficult. Yeah, armor. Good idea. Now, how about a way out? Guess I'll find my own way from here. Mask. No, it can't be. It's not possible. If there's another mask, their path isn't safe. I have to find a way back.
Is she?
Cowards! The gateway is closed.
That creature.
Hey!
Kid.
Let him go!
Another mask. This is important to you. I wonder, do you think this could set you free?
You touch me again, and I swear, I will kill you.
Would you like to see how hard it is to die here, Godly? I can show you.
You can't keep me here.
The gateway is closed. There is no escape.
Okay, how awful is it that like Kratos and Atreus thought that they were doing this thing by like saying goodbye to her peacefully and then bringing her ashes and all of that and releasing them, and that's the whole point of kind of their storyline. And here she is, like basically doing anything but resting in peace and being free, as Kratos said she should be.
Resisting the truth will only make this more painful.
Sekhmet,
No, Betsy. I will handle that problem. You deal with our new pet.
think they're gone.
Just be careful.
Fresh air. Oh, you're different.
You're a cube. Talking. You know what? It doesn't matter. How do we get out of here?
Yeah, we've tried. There's no way out.
And you're a talking sword.
I'm not the sword. I'm the ribbons, obviously. And my name is Rue. The cube is Frank.
I'm Faye. There has to be a way out of here.
A way out? But you're not even all here.
Of course I'm not here. I'm dead.
You have to be dead to come through the gateway.
It's like you're holding something back.
This isn't working. Where are we anyway?
Afterlife of the gods? I call it the everyone.
Afterlife of the gods. Great.
Okay, so I feel like now is as good a time as any to stop and talk about who Faye is and who Faye is based on in the mythology. So Faye is short for Laufey or Laufey. I'm not really sure yet how they're pronouncing it in the game. I'll just go with that when the time comes. I personally use the modern Icelandic pronunciation when it comes to reading Old Norse, as you'll know if you've watched some of my other videos. But if you haven't, that's what I'm sort of basing my pronunciation on. You might also know Laufey as the Icelandic singer pictured here. So Laufey means something like leaf island, which doesn't make a ton of sense. She's also referred to as Nowl or needle. And we don't find her in any skaldic poetry, but we do find her in Eddic poetry, so the Poetic Edda, one of our two main sources for Norse mythology, as well as in Snorri Sturluson's Prose Edda, our other main source for Norse mythology. And there is a short tale, Surlathautur, or the Tale of Surli, which refers to her briefly. So these are a few of the sources we find her in, but otherwise there's really not a lot that we know about her. We mostly know of her because a kenning, or a sort of word riddle to refer to Loki, is the son of Laufey. A kenning is a word riddle. It often depends on knowledge of the mythology. So in order to refer to something like poetry, within poetry, you might use the kenning Kvasir's blood, and it presupposes knowledge of why we might be using this kind of roundabout way of referring to poetry by putting together the words Kvasir and blood. So another is Odin's gift or Odin's find. All of these things are ways of referring to poetry. And there's a ton of kennings. Kennings are a characteristic of poetry, of Old Norse poetry. And basically Snorri's entire Prose Edda was put together in order to explain things like kennings and poetic diction, and other ways of referring to things within poetry and poetic meter and all of that. But all of that is to say, we mostly hear about Laufey in the sources as kenning for Loki. So, for example, in Lokasena, which is Loki's quarrel, Loki refers to himself as the son of Laufey, which in itself is rather peculiar because in the naming system for both modern Icelandic and also Old Norse, an individual is typically referred to in relation to their father. So Loki's father is known as well. He's a giant named Farbauti. And it would be kind of expected that Loki would be referred to as Loki, the son of Farbauti, as opposed to Loki, the son of Laufey. Typically, an individual is known and referred to in relation to their father. So, for example, Eric the Red had some kids. He had among them Leif, who is the son of Eric, Leif Eriksson, and he had an illegitimate daughter named Freydis, and she's Freydis Eriksdottir. So if Leif has kids, I can't remember his exact lineage off the top of my head. One of his sons would be whatever their first name is, Leif's son, and a daughter would be whatever her name is, Leifsdottir, and so on and so forth. So you don't have an actual sort of surname system in Old Norse. An individual is referred to in relation to their father and their father's name in what's known as the genitive form or the possessive form of that name, plus son or dottir. So it's really peculiar that Loki is referred to as the son of Laufey. And there's not much known about her. It's thought that perhaps she was a goddess, but that's something that would be really problematic in the whole kind of scope of how giant and god relations work. It is a major no-no for a goddess to in any way marry or procreate with a giant. The other way around works just fine and happens all the time. It's a way of the gods kind of establishing their hierarchy over the giants or the Jötnar. So giants, once again, it's sort of an imperfect translation for Jötun. They're another race that lives within this kind of mythological world, and they are one that is viewed as inferior to the Aesir, or the gods. So one way in which they sort of keep that hierarchy in place is this, what is referred to by John Lindau, whose encyclopedia or guide to Norse myths I frequently refer. He refers to it as a one-way flow of women. And this is typical within colonialism as a way of establishing dominance. So the men of the giants are not allowed to procreate with or marry the women of the Aesir, but it can go the other way around, and it does frequently. So if Laufey is indeed a goddess, which she very well may be, and that might explain why Loki's referred to as the son of Laufey, as opposed to the son of Farboiti, that poses a really fundamental problem. But it also might explain Loki himself, who is the sort of agent of chaos who brings about, essentially, he brings about the end of the world, brings about Ragnarok. So all of this is to say that Laufey is someone we don't know a whole lot about. We only know her in relation to her son, Loki, and there is a lot of room to imagine who she might have been, and there's a lot of speculation within scholarship about to which mythological race she belonged. And I think that that's really cool because that allows for a lot of room for interpretation. And I think that that's really exciting that now we have an entire game that's based on Fae, because within the mythology, there's so much about Laufey that is simply unknown. And I think that, as with a lot of things within Norse mythology, where we have these kind of major holes in terms of our knowledge, things that we'll never know because of sources that either didn't get written down or were written down and are now lost forever due to library fires or whatever. This allows for a lot of room to imagine. And it's really exciting to see that they're doing this with this character. I've always found Laufey to be really, really fascinating. And I've always found it really unfortunate that the myths don't have anything more to tell us about her. And I think that that makes for a really exciting opportunity for a game like this to explore her story.
So, what's the plan, boss?
Not your boss, Frank. That cask. That's why you're trapped.
Yeah. Wait, you made that big explosion happen, right? Could you do that again?
My magic, it's wrong here. I feel wrong here.
You want out, right?
I think we all want that.
We definitely do.
Faye, you need to accept it. All of it. You're dead.
How? How do I accept that?
Simple. Focus. You're here. Be here.
But what if I need to be somewhere else?
Then focus on what you do need.
Find your way home.
Hey, that's it. What were you thinking of?
A promise.
Okay, we'll take it. Now let's get out of here.
Okay. Get ready.
Wait! Not a good idea! Bad idea!
Rue? I think you should give her the sword.
How do I know I can trust her?
I'll give it back. I promise.
Okay. Take it.
Not until I get you out.
I don't need help.
Here we go, coming up behind.
Got an idea on opening that cage.
Hey, kid! Get ready!
Come on!
No! I got a promise to keep.
Fine, but lady, that sword, it's more than you think it is.
I already told you! I will kill you.
Don't make promises you can't keep, Gotham. Try again!
Faye, focus!
Prayer! I will wrench you sweat by sweat! You don't know what you wield.
What is it? You're scared of this sword. Why?
I fear nothing! Just give up!
I don't give up!
Okay, I am just super, super excited about that. There are so many questions that I have. I have no idea what this entire context mythological or otherwise that she is in. I know nothing of sort of Mongolian history, culture, mythology. So that's something that hopefully we'll be learning a bit more about, or presumably we'll be learning more about as we go. I'm really interested in the swords. This idea of swords having particular personalities is something that is well known within Old Norse literature. There are numerous swords, such as Gram, which is the sword of the Volsungs, for example, that Sigurd the Dragon Slayer uses, that take on a particular personality. Often they're named. And we saw this as well in Ragnarok with Atreus' sword Ingrid. So this idea of swords having personalities or histories or particular characteristics associated with them isn't new. So I'm really interested to learn a little bit more about what's going on with that sword and whether or not it ties into the mythology or is an entirely sort of new story in itself will be really cool. I have no idea who this kid is that she freed, but I think the entire thing is really badass, and I'm really excited that Faye is being featured here as the main character. I'm excited to see whether or not it's going to engage with the parallel storyline that's going on with Kratos and Atreus. And yeah, there are just so many cool things to look forward to here, and I'm really excited to see Laufey's story being told. And yeah, I think that that's about all I can say right now. I have more questions than I have comments, and I guess we're just going to have to eagerly await the release of this game, and I promise to be doing a reaction to it. I'm also really excited, as you know, for the release of the TV series, to which I will be reacting, and I will be continuing my Assassin's Creed Valhalla. But if you're new here and seeing this channel for the first time, you can go back and look at my reactions all the way from God of War 2018 through to God of War Ragnarok, and including some of the Mimir boat stories and the afterplay as well with God of War Valhalla. Let me know what you think about the game and what you're hoping for, what questions you have in the comments, and I look forward to this whenever it comes our way. Thanks.